management or ownership of this station. It's time to get on the right path with Right Path.
Y'all ready?
Real Estate
Yeah,
Radio
sure, why
with
not?
Tom Perry.
Okay,
The answer
all
to the
right.
question
Welcome,
that's keeping
Facebook.
you from taking action and succeeding today.
Welcome to the show. All right, gotta share the page. Gotta share the love.
Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Mike's on.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio, practical real estate investing. My name is Tom Perry. I'm the host of the show. We have a call-in number, 713-785-1817. You can listen to us live on Business Radio AM 1110, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. We're also broadcast live on the Book of Faces. That's fb.com/Right Path Real Estate. You can also, wow, the music's going really long. What's up with that? And then also catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on Periscope, Twitch. Also want to remind you, welcome back, my brother from another mother.
Thank you very much.
My co-host of the show, back from vacation. I noticed you're not all sunburnt.
We did very well.
Yeah, I
I
see
mean,
that.
I've got a couple small red spots, but
Places you can't quite reach.
for the amount of
Yeah.
time we spend in the sun, we
Yeah.
did very well.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So just came back from a spot in Mexico,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Celebrating your wife's birthday, all that kind of
Yes.
fun stuff. So
We had a great time.
any highlights that you want to share? I mean,
You know, it's just something. I love day drinking.
yeah, right. Day drinking's
I
good.
love
It's
day
5
drinking.
o'clock somewhere.
I love swimming up and ordering a drink.
Yeah.
It's just,
Swim up bars are amazing.
I didn't realize how much I liked it until
Yeah.
this trip, because I've been to a swim up bar before,
Right.
But just never that, like, it was normally a 1 or 2 day thing, but
Yeah.
it was. I mean, we got to the point to where we didn't really want to do anything else,
right.
And there's so much cool stuff to do, and
Right.
It's like, hey, do you, no,
No,
really.
I'm really comfortable in the pool.
Really comfortable in the pool.
Just
The temperature's good.
Meeting people.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great.
just- Yeah, we met so many cool folks from Dallas and north of Dallas, from
London?
just outside of London,
Yeah.
from New Jersey. We met some folks from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we met some.
you meet any
folks from
Airbnb folks?
Liverpool. No Airbnb folks.
Okay,
It's really weird.
That's weird.
But we just met so many cool people. And,
Morning, Curtis.
Hey, good morning. We met a lot of cool folks, connected with them,
Nice.
exchanged phone numbers, and, even ended up, like, we made really good friends with this wedding party, and then we made really good friends with this other wedding party, and we thought there were two different weddings, but it was really just the groom side and the bride side.
Yeah, right.
They didn't know each other, so we're like the common connector. For
Oh,
all
wow.
these folks. So we ended up getting invited to a stranger's wedding.
Nice.
Like,
yeah.
so
Did you bring a gift?
no, but we bought them some drinks.
Yeah.
The drinks were free.
Right. I know.
They bought
Right.
drinks,
Yeah.
but,
Drinks on us. First round.
I'll buy the first round.
Right.
So I mean, it was just cool, man. There was cool people everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
There, it's. I think in certain places when you have a, I don't want to say a barrier of entry, but a certain.
Yes.
There's just you're not going to get any dummies.
Well, that's a place where successful people like to go and hang out on
course.
vacation. It's not exactly an inexpensive place.
Yes.
It's not. It's not a super
It
high.
can be if you choose for it to be, for sure.
There are some high
But,
end.
it's talking to the people that have been coming there every year for 12 years.
Right, yeah.
And then talking to people that were there like us for the first time.
Right.
And then, it was just getting all the different, like you get some details, some tips and tricks and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Some
we started passing those kind of things
Yeah.
on, and it was just really cool.
Some inside 411.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
we actually got this quick little side story, but there was this one group of folks from Dallas, and she had these cool little floats. And my wife said, "I really like those floats. Where'd you get them?" She said, "Amazon." She's like, "Great, I get everything from Amazon."
Sure, right.
That whole thing. So the day they were leaving,
Yeah.
the husband comes and finds us and says, "Hey, she wanted to leave these for y'all."
Oh, wow.
Right? Because
Yeah.
they were leaving like 4 days before.
Sure.
us.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome, right? So now we've got these floats for the next few days.
Right.
And so what we did is we signed the float, and then we passed it on
To the next.
to the next group and explain to them that they now have to sign it.
Yeah, and pass it on.
Pass it on to the next
Oh,
group.
man, can you
So
imagine coming back a year
later? We
later?
created a hashtag
Right, yeah.
for Instagram, so everybody that does it has to take a picture, post it on Instagram with that hashtag, so we'll be able to follow that float as it passes from person to person there at the resort.
What a great
Yeah.
idea.
So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Looking forward to seeing how that works out.
Yeah, and just sharing the stories and the connections.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely, man.
I
It was-
remember when I floated on that
Yes.
float and the
And
story.
like how cool it would be to go back a year later and still see the float floating around.
See like 100 signatures on it or something like
awesome.
that. That'd be amazing. And just go back and read the stories. Yeah. So, all that to say, now you're resetting because you left what day last week?
We left on Thursday.
We
got back yesterday afternoon.
So, and you were doing, because you were still, it's not like you were in a remote desert island with no
I was still plugged in. Like I try my best not to, like I didn't open the laptop.
Right, sure.
I had it with me.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't open it.
Right.
But I would respond to some emails.
Sure.
Communicating with you guys a couple times here and there when it needed to be done. I have a hard time being 100% unplugged. That's just never something that's really. I'll spend more time not enjoying myself when I'm completely unplugged because I don't know what's going on. But when I know everything's where it's supposed to be and everything's working out okay, then I can unplug.
Right.
And, for me, a lot of it, too, is just being able to step out of the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And being able to step away from it. Because when you're in the grind, you're constantly, there's fires, right? And you're constantly dealing with the next thing.
Yeah, because, real estate is really easy. It's the people that can make it challenging, right? We talk about that.
And so, for me, it was really nice to be able to step back and then start to see the big picture of where we're going and things like that. And just, I'm fired up now. Like, I'm ready.
You got excited, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited about what we're doing.
I did the same thing over Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, and
but I was in Galveston, a little bit different beach than you were at.
Different beach for sure. Yeah. Probably different flavor cocktails as well.
Right. I wasn't drinking. Yeah.
So, but when you can step out and see the big picture of what you're doing and know that the daily efforts that you're putting in are starting to come to fruition,
right?
And you can kind of see the picture clearer.
Yeah.
And I think to step out of the micro and get into a macro level of thinking, you can kind of start to put some things into perspective and know that you're still headed in the right direction. I think a lot of times we get so sucked into the micro that eventually the macro becomes an afterthought.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to pull away sometimes and make sure that the macro is still on track.
Well, what I find oftentimes is you either need to get away or you need to plug into someone else outside of your normal circle to be able to ask some questions, be able to think differently than what you do. Because so many times we get tunnel vision.
Yes.
We're so caught up into the day-to-day grind of what. Okay, you got I've got my task list. I use two things. One, Google Calendar that and about that, and then the other one I use is Evernote. I make a lot of lists on Evernote, and because then what I like about Evernote is there's not a plug for Evernote or anything like that. I just like using it. It's a quick place for me to take down notes and all that kind of stuff. So, anyhow. So I wanted to make the topic today, like, how do you restart after a break? And I know for you it's not like you've been gone for a month and things like that, but what I recognize is oftentimes, we see this in our group. What'll happen is people, and it happens in life, and I heard Tony Robbins recently about so many people, they get excited and passionate about starting to do something.
Yes.
And in fact, we talk about the momentum cycle that people are always either spiraling downwards or they're spiraling upward. No one ever stays the same.
Correct.
You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. You're never maintaining ground. There's no such thing as maintaining ground excuse me, in life. So, everybody has a tremendous amount of potential.
Yes.
In God's eyes, we're all created equal. In the marketplace, we're not. No. Everyone has a massive amount of potential. When you ask, hey, what's someone's potential in life? I look at my 14-year-old daughter, and she can really accomplish anything that she sets her mind to. But unfortunately, most people don't even come anywhere close to living up to their level of potential. It's sad. We know that people don't have the relationships they want in their life, all of those kind of things, right? So why is it that we have so many people that will get started, say, this is what I want to do, and then never actually follow through? So many people, I have a feeling, are listening right now and saying, hey, that's me. I've kind of laid real estate or whatever it is aside, and now I'm ready to restart. What are some of the things that people do to restart?
Well, here's what I can tell you. I think a lot of it has to do with mindset on restarting.
Yes.
I think a lot of times people start something without really getting to the underlying reason of why they're doing it.
Yes.
And I think if you can really hone in on that underlying reason, starting or restarting is, sometimes when you take a break, you can for me, taking this little trip, like
2 minutes.
our goal is, sometime between probably the age of 50, 55, 60 is get to a point through real estate that we can literally be anywhere in the world and still have enough to live off of, right?
If you want to go stay there for a month, you could.
Yes. Right. And that's our ultimate goal. Right. That's why we do what we do on a daily basis and things like that. And for me, when I do get to take a small trip now, that really, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it refocuses me and things like that. But even when I'm not experiencing something like that, for me, restarting is never an issue because I know exactly why I'm doing it.
Right.
I talked to several people this morning, that called this morning. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah. Well, back to work. We just got back yesterday. Oh, that sucks. First day back's always hard. I'm like, I couldn't wait to get here today. You know what I mean? What are you talking? It's not hard. I'm glad to be back today.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong.
It's all about
I'd much rather still be in the pool ordering a pina colada because I started serving them at 9. Right?
Yeah, right.
So 17 minutes ago, I could have got my first drink.
Right.
But that's not the point.
Right.
I'm here and I'm happy to be here.
Right.
So restarting is not an issue for me.
Right.
And I think for people that are having an issue restarting, it's because they're not completely zoned in on why they're doing what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've got to get crystal clear on that first.
Yeah.
Just like people that are aiming at a fuzzy target, right?
That's one of the things that we're gonna. I'll just throw this out there. We've got our next weekend retreat coming up in about 2 weekends, I believe, and that's one of the things that we're gonna help people with. Is we've got an exercise, we've got a tool that you would leave the weekend being laser clear as to why you're doing what you're doing. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
Quite sure what happened there.
Yeah.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to
fund
good morning, Ben.
Hey, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. Sean, good morning.
Purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible.
Curtis, you still on?
Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Hey, good morning, cuz. Curtis is still here.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts, Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas, 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. A little more cowbell.
Yeah, right.
713-785-1817. We are a call-in show. Feel free to give us a call. Let's talk about either why you're having trouble getting started or what you do to help yourself get restarted. We'd love to hear your
you know,
insight on that as well.
One of the things that I know is that restarting can become a habit.
Yes.
Because quitting can become a habit. So, you start, you quit, you restart, you quit, you restart, you quit.
I think a lot of that is the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's like when you're younger, you're habitually dating, right?
Well, excitement and enthusiasm.
It's so fun in the beginning.
Right. Excitement and enthusiasm can get you so far.
Yes.
And then the adrenaline wears off.
Yes.
And then
the work comes.
And then the work comes.
Yep.
And then it takes discipline to
Yes.
work your way through. And, so it's you see it in sports all the time. I mean, how many people, think that they want to play in the NFL, but the level of discipline it takes, first off, it takes an incredible level of talent, but the level of practice that it takes for most people, they don't have that discipline, and then the desire's not strong enough. Life gets in the way, all those kind of things. So then, you get in this habit of restarting, and then I think what happens is, if you can just visualize, like when you're in a car driving, and we all know how big the windshield is and how small the rearview mirror is, but I think so many times, that fear and doubt starts creeping in. And we've talked about before that fear is false expectations appearing real, and that fear and doubt has killed more dreams than failure ever will. I mean, it's just most of the time we're our own worst enemy when it comes to those situations. So we don't do the massive action because we don't have the certainty or belief, and we put it on that, something external. It's like whatever we're trying to accomplish, is it really going to work for me? Can I really do it?
Yeah.
Is it, it's not can I do it? It's like, if I do it, will it work?
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit like, if I start farming and plant seeds, is it really going to produce a harvest? And what about this? And what about, and then that certainty and belief is not very strong. So then it reduces our level of potential. I mean, people that have a really high level of certainty and belief because they've accomplished things. And then we also know other people that have a lower level of certainty and belief. And so what's the difference between those two people's potential?
Yeah.
And so I think so many times what ends up happening is that we end up looking backwards to, is this time that I restart going to be different than when I started before? And we've seen this in our group. It's like real estate works.
Yeah.
For anybody that wants to work real estate, are there some things that you need to learn? Yes. Do you have to be an expert before it works for you? No. I mean, was I an expert in wholesaling when we did our first wholesale deal?
No, absolutely not.
No, you couldn't. There's no way possible. But we made $47,000 in our first wholesale deal. Did we learn some things in that process? Did I bring some skill sets to the table that allowed? Yes, I had a tremendous amount of sales experience. I knew how to talk to sellers.
And there's been other wholesale deals,
Yeah.
right, along the way that through that learning experience
right.
that you did some things wrong or didn't
Of
do
course.
some things right.
Yeah, right.
That were money learning lessons, right?
Absolutely.
And that's part of, what we talk to people about is using other people's experience and
Right.
their time and condensing your time frame on getting to a certain point, because you have 6 years of experience on the even farther back on the construction side, but
Right.
just on the buy and hold, fix and flip and wholesale side, 6 years of experience, which one could argue if you're doing 10 deals a year, you've got a little bit more than 6 years of experience, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
after 600 deals,
Right.
If take that and compress it in time, and imagine how many lessons were learned through
Right.
600 deals, and still learning ones today as we go, right?
Sure.
Imagine
because
being
the
able to-
marketplace is changing
Constantly.
People's situations are changing.
The rules change,
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, you're constantly learning, but you have a background of experience, and so we're actually changing our boundaries in terms of deals that we go after,
Yes.
right? And doing like fractional purchases of properties and
Yes.
buying properties with dirty title and cleaning them up and things like that. And so that teaches you new strategies. I don't know that those are very good for beginners to start out, because
Definitely not.
Because really, I mean, in fact, I met a friend of mine. We've gotten together. It's been a while, but we got together, late yesterday afternoon, about 5:30, and we for about an hour and a half. And just, I see the kind of grind that he does in his work, and he goes, "Man, I love listening to your podcast." And I forget that this gets converted
Yes,
to
it does.
podcast. And he goes, "I love that it's not just strictly about real estate." And I said, "Well, if it were, I mean, we'd be repeating ourselves a lot."
Yes.
And not that we don't now, but we recognize that, hey, only about 20% of real estate is actually the technical part of it. I mean, the numbers are really, really simple. But we started talking about the difference between investing in stocks and investing in real estate, and almost everyone's concern. I mean, there's the same 3 or 4 or 5 questions that come up from every single person. It's like, what happens if there's a downturn? And so then I started explaining, how do you bulletproof? If there's a downturn, I mean, like, let's talk about that. I mean, because that's a fear, and again, false expectation.
Let's put the pen to paper, right? Because every real investor is going, please,
yeah,
please,
right,
please.
Right. It's not. It's most real investors that understand the marketplace. They don't fear a downturn in the marketplace. They fear that it doesn't downturn.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's really because that's
Absolutely.
when that's. I mean,
somebody hit the reset button on this bad boy.
Yeah, man. That's when the real exciting wealth building starts taking place. Is when there is a downturn in the buy and hold space.
Yes.
Not when there's a downturn.
Yeah,
in
you
the
don't want to
flip
get caught
space.
with 12 flips on your plate.
No, you
right?
don't.
Obviously.
You don't want that. But in the buy and hold spaces, there, if there's a downturn, that's something totally different. Provided that, as long as you can cash flow, if you could take a 20% reduction in rental rate and still break even so that you're covering your monthly nut. And Dr. Dotzauer talked about this. He actually described it as a 10% reduction in rental rate. So if you've got a $1,500 a month rental, if you drop that to $1,350, and you also had a 10% increase in vacancy.
Yeah, but I think you can just as easily say 20% reduction in rent.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the same math. And so if you had $1,500 a month rent, as long as we'll call this debt service coverage ratio, because that's how the lenders really talk about that. As long as you have a 1.0 debt, in other words, if you reduce your rental rate by 20%, do you still cover your debt service, your principal, your interest, your taxes, your insurance, your management fee, all of those things? If you can do that, all you really, history, if we look back forever and ever in real estate, recessions have typically, in a downturn of the rental price range, has only been a downturn for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the next 8 years, if you look at any 10-year period of time, you buy at the highest high. If you go back and look at historically, where are the highest points in the marketplace ever? Put a dart in that, or put a push pin in that point in the marketplace, and then track it 10 years later. It's always up 10 years later, regardless of how much it fell in between.
Yep.
If you hold real estate for 10 years, it's always selling for more than it was when you first started.
If you're bulletproofed and you have to go through break-even cycle for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're still gaining depreciation.
Right.
You're still gaining equity pay down. So
Yep.
there are still ways that you're still earning through that resource.
Right.
But your cash flow is going to be on hold for a couple of years,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Can your
But here's the reality.
asset make it through that?
Here's the reality that when the values of rental properties have
Rents
fallen,
go up.
rents have typically gone up. And he said, you know what? You're right. Most people, they're like, the light bulb goes on. They go, oh, yeah, because here's the thing. If I buy $150,000 worth of stock, and let's say that I've margined myself, because you can borrow up to 50% of the value from a brokerage, so that'd be $75,000. So I could have $225,000 for $150,000 invested. So a little bit of margin, not much, a little bit of leverage. But if the stock price dips a bit, then they're like, hey, you got to either you put some extra cash in, or we got to sell off some to improve this position, right? Because they're not going to take any risk. But if you've got a mortgage on a house, and typically if it's a commercial note, it's going to be a minimum of 5 years. If it's going to be, you could have a 30-year mortgage as well. So if you've got a note on there, then there's not going to be any kind of margin call. If a $150,000 house drops in value to $130,000, which I would say that historically right now I don't think that's possible, because we've already got cash buyers in the marketplace that say that that's pretty much the floor.
Yeah.
And so I don't see how it's really possible for that price range to fall, even if we had a major real estate crash. I mean, sure, I can work out in my head some what if scenarios, but be catastrophic.
So far-fetched.
Yeah, right. However, that typically means that investors aren't losing their houses. It's retail owner occupants are being foreclosed on. So if you have a rise in foreclosures, those people now need a place to live.
Yes.
So there's more and more tenants, and they normally don't like to go from a house to an apartment. They normally go from owning a house to renting a house, or moving in.
They've got a house full of stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And it's really hard to put that into a half-size apartment.
Well, and they have pets.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we need to have a yard for our dog or our cats, or whatever the situation is. Our kids kids need a yard to play in the back, all that kind of stuff, right? So, so that means that there's more demand, and the supply hasn't increased yet. I mean, because now investors start typically going in and buying those foreclosures, right? Yeah. And so that's a great buying opportunity for investors. And so when rental rates rise, it really, although if the value dropped because there's foreclosures, but you're not selling at that point anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So then that means that when you look at real estate from a leverage standpoint, and this is an aha moment, I said, when I talk about 7% appreciation on a house, $150,000 house going up $10,500 in a year, people go, yeah, I mean, how do I get rich on that? And then you explain that, hey, Warren Buffett some people say he's wealthy. I mean,
allegedly.
Some people, I don't know what your definition of wealth is, but some people say that he's wealthy. I mean, by almost anyone's definition, right? Yeah, I'm being a little silly. So he got that way on 20% average rate of return over about 50 years.
Yeah.
When you just average out what his returns are up and down over the long haul, it's about 20%. And I said, look, I just showed you. I laid out the entire, $150,000 house, $1,500 a month rent, $300 a month cash flow, 12%, appreciating at 7%. Your leverage 5-to-1, that's 35%. You put the two together, that's 47. I know I went through that really, really fast, and we go through it weekly. Yes. In a well-through real estate webinar. Thank you. And see, you don't have to be perfect to do radio, right? You just have to be willing to do it.
Sometimes you just got to show up on time.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you just have to show up. Yeah. And sometimes you can be 5 minutes late.
Yeah, and still get
it done.
Okay.
Right, still be okay. So all that's to say, and I had this conversation with my buddy last night, and I said, Buffett got wealthy on 20%, and I just showed you a 47% rate of return. That, when you're in the stock market, we know that banks won't lend on stock because they feel like it's too risky. Yet all day long, you can put 20% down. And he corrected me and goes, well, on my house, so we put 3% down. Now he just paid off his house. So, yeah. And I said, well, that's debt equity. Imagine if you took the equity out of your house. Now, I know there's safety and security in having your own paid-for house. You can never lose that. Sometimes people, that's their fallback position. No matter how bad everything gets, at least all I have to do is maintain insurance and taxes on the house, and I can afford that no matter what, right? So, okay, I appreciate that. But what if you took that equity out of the house and you leveraged it 5-to-1? And so you have $200,000 in a house, and you leverage it. Now you get $1 million worth of real estate, and it's growing 7% a year. Now that's $70,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. The music says I'm out of time. We'll be back in just a few minutes. I hope you stay tuned. Hope you're learning something. Hope we're adding value. If you are, stick around.
Hey, good morning, Drew. Good morning, Maribel. Thank you very much. Good morning, Denise.
Hello,
good morning,
real
Robert.
estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? All right, Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you
thanks
feedback
for the likes and
on
loves.
value,
Appreciate that.
cost of repairs, and potential loan amount.
If you
Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source
for
first-time investors and seasoned professionals.
If you feel like we add
Call
value,
281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting.
Tell you what, if anybody wants to read a good
lots
book,
of great real estate talk.
Finished.
We'll see you there.
How Not to Die. I'm almost finished. Oh my God! Just about when I think I'm healthy, I'm doing well, and like there's so many areas that I can just take it up.
Slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that.
Yeah.
You need a quick turnaround on quotes
I
or
thought
binders.
I had the cookbook.
The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of
Texas.
Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's
I've been texting my daughter this morning and talking to my mom,
281-569-4353.
so-
Or online
Showing some
at
break already?
benchmarkbroker.com.
Oh, yeah, for like
That's
2 weeks.
benchmarkbroker.com.
Yeah.
That's
Early.
281-569-4353.
got today and
Or
tomorrow.
online at benchmarkbroker.com.
So last 2 days, huh?
Yeah, he'll be done.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly
Oh, but you're-
general
I'm
contractor
You're
for
done
your
with
Today
your
was
daughter.
the first day
property?
not
Yeah,
driving
Then
to
call
real.
Fast Track
You missed
Remodeling
that?
at
No, it was great.
832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
and just come right
Fast Track
Yeah.
Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family
And-
investment
and your daughter
properties.
didn't have to come,
whether
right?
it's a flip
Nope.
rehab
Yeah,
or a
so
rental
she- she
rehab,
had a chance to
we
see
manage
that.
every aspect
I'm
of a
sure she
rehab
is.
from
Yeah,
start
right.
to finish
Yeah.
with a highly
Do you have any special
efficient,
plans for the
standardized
summer?
process.
Over the
Sending her
last
to
6
Japan.
years, Fast Track has
Okay.
completed over
She'll be going
700
to Japan for about
projects,
10 days.
which has helped us
Wow,
to
nice.
create our
Yeah.
3 keys to success.
Just on her own?
Use a
or-
No,
detailed
it's through a
scope of
school
work
trip.
so that everything gets done,
Did the new
train
school
and
or the previous
maintain
school?
quality
The previous
crews
school, that was
so it
part of
gets
the reason
done
I didn't
right,
pull her out,
Yeah.
and
because I
complete
didn't
the
know if that
work in a
would affect
proper
me.
order so it gets done
But
fast.
she's part of the
No more
Japanese
managing
club
it
there.
yourself.
Nice.
No more doing the
And,
work yourself.
they've
Fast Track
booked a school
Remodeling
trip
really does
to,
manage it all.
So give us a call
Japan,
today
so-
at
Japan she goes?
they're going to
832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992. Or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Tokyo.
This is
They're
Business
going to Tokyo
Oh,
E1110.
China, actually.
and 2 other cities.
Okay,
I
good.
want to say one of them is, I want to say Nagasaki possibly.
Oh, yeah, sure.
They're going to one of the places where it's not Hiroshima. I think it's got to be Nagasaki.
Here we
They're
go.
going to 3 different cities.
You got to wait for the baseline, right? I mean,
Baseline.
all right. Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio.
Hey, good morning, Ricardo.
So, my name is Tom Perry, host of the Right Path Real Estate Radio Show. We come to you live Monday through Friday, 99% of the time. I mean, it was the best of show on Monday, but I'm just not making excuses. And I'm joined live in the studio with my brother from another mother, Mr. Daniel G. in the house. Just came back from vacation. We've been talking about restarting. We've been talking about, really all we talk about is, today I talk about what I did yesterday. And tomorrow I'll talk about what I did today. And so you know that I'm out there actually actively doing real estate, whether I'm teaching other people. I mean, I got involved in a 20-minute conversation yesterday with a guy. He was in the military until he was in the Navy, and then he turned 26, and he got out and started a construction company.
Okay.
And then, he gave that construction company to his brothers, and that was up out of town, north part of the state.
Okay.
And then he started up in Houston about a year ago, something like that. And then we were, so I'm like, man, I know right where you are. Although he started his differently than me, I started knowing about business, but not knowing anything about construction. His is he started knowing a lot about construction,
But not a lot about business.
but not a lot about
Nice.
business. And so you can recognize the difference in the mindsets. But he does know the difference between markup and margin. So I
Okay.
quizzed him on that a little bit. Now his margins are a little bit different than what Fast Tracks are, but I think he's done quite a bit more retail stuff
Yes.
in the past, and he's really going after the investor business and that kind of stuff. But you realize, hey, I see things in his mindset of things that he's doing that it seems like he's going in the right direction, but oftentimes unless you hear it from someone else, your thinking doesn't really change. And we talk about so many times that our thinking leads to our decisions lead to our actions, and our actions lead to our results. And so many times when we don't like the results that we get laser focused on doing something different. We focus on a new action.
Yes.
But we're not really looking to change our thinking because we don't often see anything wrong with our thinking.
And that's the problem so many times is people, in network marketing, it's
Yeah.
really bad. Is you see people go from one company
Yep.
to the next,
Yep.
to the next, to
Yep.
the next.
Right.
And a lot of those people will take a stint in real estate, right?
right.
Because they're looking for that thing.
Yep.
And the problem is it's not the thing.
Right.
It's not the network marketing company. It's not real estate. It's not whatever business that you're trying to get into.
Yeah.
And I 100% totally believe that real estate is the easiest way to get to wealth in this country.
Yes.
But there are other ways as well.
Sure, right.
And so many people are looking for that way. And the problem is they're looking outside themselves.
Yeah, right.
When where you need to start is inside.
Yes, right.
You've got to create value of who
Yes.
you are as a person
Right.
to the marketplace in any industry.
Yes.
Before capitalism will start to pay you back.
Well, and so what I focused on, in fact, I had a conversation yesterday. Won't throw anybody under the bus in terms of who I had it with, but hopefully they're listening. But I really, speaking life into them that says, hey, I know what you're doing on a daily basis, and I know what you're putting into you. And I'm like, hey, you need to be pouring better into you, because if you don't want to be, one of those unsuccessful people. You want to be someone successful, you've got to do what successful people
Every
are doing
day.
every day. So what are you pouring into your mind? What are you pouring into your body? What are you doing, in these areas if you're here now, what are you doing to get to another notch up? Who's speaking into your life? What's speaking into your life?
Yes.
Where are the filters that are speaking life and affluence into your life? And they said, yeah, I'm not even going to say if it's a male or female. It doesn't really matter. But what, and I'm like, hey, instead of watching, TV shows on your phone that don't pour into making you better,
Yes.
why don't you do these other things? Why don't you read a book? And part of my story is there was a season in my life that I don't do it as much now, but I've read as much as 2 books in a week for years at a time, because I knew that with that daily discipline, I wanted, and I was reading, not.
Now, you're not talking about Nicholas Sparks and John Grisham,
not Harlequin
right?
romances or
Okay.
anything like that. Now, here's what I would do: is I would typically read 4 or 5 or 6. Books about management or about psychology or about finance or about economics or about real estate or or marketing or any of the, those kind of things,
Yes.
or leadership. I mean, love John Maxwell, 21
Yeah.
Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Anything by Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, all sales books. That kind of stuff. And then I would mix in from time to time
A leisure book.
a leisure book. Like I have read all the John Grisham books.
Yeah.
Because I think that's entertaining, and did read the book The Help before the movie came out and
Nice.
stuff like that. And because I feel like that you need to have some balance. Never read a Harlequin a romance or anything
No,
like that.
okay.
Wasn't a Fabio fan or anything like that. So didn't know who he
You were
was.
just
why
jealous of the hair, that's all.
I don't know. I've had pretty long hair.
I know, that's why I brought that up.
Not so. I've got good hair. I'm not complaining about my hair. So, because it does its own thing, really. I mean, it does what it do.
Now more than ever.
Yes.
And, I've tried to get my kids, on, like, when they're in the car, I'm forcing them to listen to something
Yeah.
at the time, right? And I understand that a lot of times they're just going to tune it out, but
Yeah.
what if something gets to them,
Oh,
right?
man.
And for me, it's like the availability of the different mediums that
Yeah.
you have to gain
Yeah.
this knowledge. You don't literally have to have 3 hours a day to sit in a cubbyhole at your house and read a book.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many ways you can feed yourself
Oh my gosh, yeah.
this information,
Yeah.
whether it's through Kindle, whether it's through Audible, like all these different channels,
Yeah.
podcasts.
I've got Amazon
like,
Kindle on my phone.
There's so many different ways to get this information.
Yeah.
You don't have any excuses.
Well, I connect my phone to my car, right? So it connects through Bluetooth, and then what I like to do is I get the Kindle version of a book, but I also buy the audio version through Amazon as well, because I like to listen to it, and so that the author is actually reading the book in their words, and then I like to read it at like 1.5 speed,
Yeah.
or sometimes double speed,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't sound like the author anymore, but I can keep up reading and hearing. And then I get through a book pretty quick. And so
Yeah.
if I'm driving, obviously I'm not reading while I'm driving.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
no. I prefer not to do that. I tried that once. Not then.
I did it for a whole semester of college. I didn't
Yeah.
have a choice once.
Although I will listen to the audiobook. It's
Yeah.
connected, comes through the speakers. I'm paying attention to driving, but I'm growing. I make it like,
Yeah, and even if you're in a position in life and you don't have the money for those programs,
Yeah.
there are so many free podcasts
yeah.
that are really can breathe the right things into you.
Right.
Nobody has any excuses not to.
No.
And it drives me nuts when I see people say, "Man, that guy's had everything go right. Everything he's lucky. This and that." It's like he spent so much time pouring into himself while you were watching Friends.
Yeah.
Right. If you had done the same thing as him, it would probably be the same result. It's not that he's any different. It's that he did different things.
If I'm going to watch TV, I like to watch biographies
Yeah.
on successful people. And recently I watched a biography on Jeff Dunham.
Oh, nice.
And, everybody, I think the puppet guy, right?
Yeah.
And, what you realize is how insecure he is. And he even admits it. And how that drives his success. And it's so funny because he said he graduated from high school and then he went to Baylor University.
Yeah.
And so he's from Dallas, basically, over
Okay.
off of Beltline Road and all of that. And he started doing started practicing ventriloquism when he was 7. Got
Wow.
his first doll for Christmas when he was 8.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so you realize, so they said, oh, yeah, he's an overnight success. And how many times he got so close to quitting. And one time he watched the Johnny Carson show, and he set a goal and that he wanted to be on the Johnny Carson show. And so there was this one comedy club, because that's normally where people get their start. And a lot of comedians, they look down on people that use props.
Okay.
That you're either a pure monologue guy or you use props.
Yeah.
And if you use props, it's like, oh, you got to use that gimmick because you're not funny enough to
Yeah.
do it without that. And so he set this goal to be on the Johnny Carson show. And there was a guy that said, he was like the screener for who gets on the Johnny Carson show, was coming to see his show and goes, oh my God, you're amazing. And said, you need to be booked to do the show.
Nice.
Well, so that was like 4 or 5 months in advance. And he said, well, the night before the show, he said, I'm going to come and see you the night before, make sure you're really ready. And the guy came to see, and he said, I thought I did just as well. And he goes, no, you're not as funny as I thought you were. You're not really ready.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't get on that time. And then guy came back again later and did so 9 times he auditioned to get on the Johnny Carson show and didn't get on. He set a goal 10 years. And so let's say that his goal was I think he said he graduated from high school in like May of whatever the year it was. It was April 10 years later. Like one more month would have been the 10 years that he set, and that's when he got on the Johnny Carson show. And you realize how many people are willing to be disciplined, the daily disciplines of life, when you have setbacks like that. What do you do when you need to restart? And he said, I was devastated. He said, but I was disappointed in myself. And he said, and that's a fire that lit inside of me, that just burned to just grind it out. And then, he had even bigger setbacks later. And you just realize that when we admire successful people, and even Jay Leno was talking a little bit about it, and he said, he's actually filled up stadiums of, 18, 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And he goes, I've never filled up stadiums that big. And
I think something you said just a second ago was really important. It's when you have a setback,
2 minutes,
and it's time to restart.
Yeah.
Are you blaming the outside world, or are you taking responsibility yourself?
Because he said, what? I wasn't doing my best. I knew I had better inside.
When you own the outcome of things, you can adjust and work harder and come back at it. But so many times I see people say, well, I didn't work out. There weren't any deals. Or I had a couple rental properties, but the tenants really screwed me over. And they're always putting it on some outside force.
Right.
So it allows them to walk away without the guilt or the shame or the failure, because it wasn't their failure. It was the system. Somebody else did them wrong.
Right.
Instead of taking control themselves. So that's a huge point. When you have a setback, can you look at it, readjust what you can control, and go back at it full force?
Yeah. If you fall off the horse, you must get back on. Yeah, but it's not just the physical activity; it's the mental discipline.
1 minute.
Can you discipline your disappointments so that it doesn't? It's one thing to get knocked down or to fall off. It's another thing. You got to get back up, and so it's like, do you have that mental force? So 80% of real estate, 80% of life is. This is Jeff Dunham. In fact, he tried forever to get onto Comedy Central. Comedy Central said, we just don't see it. It's just not, stand-up's the way to go. You're not a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
The dummies just aren't going to play, all that kind of stuff, right? And so finally he came down to, he was about ready to go out of business, basically, because the shows were starting to dwindle. He didn't want to travel as much. He had a family, but he was the only breadwinner in the household, and his expenses they were living high on the hog, but they were living check to check.
Yeah.
That's what he said. We were living he said, I had to keep grinding. And so he took like his last $110,000 of savings and produced his own spot on Comedy Central because he banked on himself because he knew and set records in terms. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Music says I'm out of time. Hope we're adding value to you today. That's our goal. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com.
Okay, Joseph,
and don't forget about
thanks so
our
much for that.
famous Third Wednesday Super Investor
I see
Networking
we go by
meeting.
Joseph.
Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
1 minute.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again,
10
that's
seconds.
832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110. Mic's on.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. This is our last segment. We got 3 or 4 minutes. This may be one of our best stuff shows in the future.
This has been a great show today. It really has.
It's been great to have you back.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about restarting, but you're definitely not restarting. But I recognize that I know that there's people out there that summertime's coming. Kids are home from school. You're going to be going out on vacation. You're going to be taking, a week or 10 days or 2 weeks off, things like that. What I know is that more houses get bought and sold in the summertime than almost any other time. So it's not a time to shut down. I see people shutting down like at the Christmas season, for example. I've seen so many investors that have said, oh, man, there's just no deals in December. And I'm like, we've bought some of our most profitable deals.
I think it's because so many people shut down over November, December that we kill it.
Yeah, our competitors, they're like, they go away. And I'm like, instead of having 100 competitors out there, we've got like 8.
I mean, even in our student group,
right?
Because they're doing the same thing we're doing.
Right.
So you hear them talk about, man, I'm buying so many houses over the holidays. It's like, yeah, because
nobody else is marketing.
Everybody else they stop their marketing because they assume that,
we got family coming in.
Yeah.
And, we're not going to, but the same thing happens in the summertime. So I want to implore you to stay in the game.
Stay in the game.
Stay in the game. I mean, I know the Astros are playing, and I know there's plenty of people that listen outside of the Houston marketplace. So, whoever your favorite sports team is, unless you're a Cubby fan, because
we don't want to talk to you today.
Yeah, the Astros are, I think, playing the Cubbies still. So anyhow, but all that's to say is you got to stay in the game. And the number one reason why people get knocked out of the game is, what's your why? Why are you really doing this? And it's got to be something other than to make money. It's got to be something.
It's got to be deeper than that.
It's got to be deeper than that. And again, if you need help identifying what that is, if you need help identifying your why, if you say, hey, Tom, I'm not really sure I know why I'm doing real estate, because we find oftentimes people are doing real estate, one, for the wrong reason. Number two, in order to get from where they are to where they want to get to, real estate is not the best way for them.
Yeah.
If you don't like I know a lot of people start out with no money, no job, no credit, and they want to get into wholesaling, and it's like that's a business that I wouldn't recommend that a guy starts a restaurant with no experience in restaurants with no money, no job, no credit. Can people do it? Yes. Yeah, Mama Lorenzo, that Mama Nymphis that created Nymphis. I mean, for those of y'all that don't know her story, I mean, an incredible story. But for every person like that, I know people that took their life savings in restaurant experience. Been a manager for a Luby's for like 30 years. Like
lost it all.
I mean, took $300,000 of life savings and just gone in a restaurant that was their dream to own.
There's always those stories.
Yeah.
But they make movies about those folks.
About the people that make it with no money, no job, no credit.
Yes.
And so if you need help defining what your why is, and you want to have
2 minutes.
a 20-minute conversation with me, I'd recommend... take down our email address, support@rightpathrealestate.com. That's support@rightpathrealestate.com. I'll run you through the exercise in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And what we may do, if there's enough people, just email, put in the subject line, my why.
There you go.
Or help with my why.
We'll schedule some kind of webinar.
And what we'll do is we'll do a webinar, and it'll be like 20 minutes long, and we'll just walk you through the tool that we're going to start utilizing. And it's going to, if you walk through this process, there's a process for determining your why. And it
may not even be the why you think it's your why.
But it will get to your why.
It'll get to your why.
Will. It is an amazing tool, and we're going to start including it in our weekend.
Yep.
We're going to start including it with our base camp
Yep.
folks, our people that meet with us on a monthly basis, and so. So anything else you want to add? Because I know we're down to like our last 30 seconds. I don't want to start a new topic.
No, we definitely don't have time for a new
we got
topic.
1 minute.
We've got 1 minute. So I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better group of people and better place to be. So
well, and then in the last 30 seconds or so, if you haven't been to our website lately, then I'll tell you,
Andy is killing it.
You haven't been to our website. So go to rightpathrealestate.com. Check out our new website.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with what he's doing.
And then if you want to give feedbacks, if there's anything that you
30
like
seconds.
to see different or something like that, give us feedback on that. But I love the flow of the website.
Yeah,
I love
it's
the
looking much
design.
better.
It's starting to be more of who we are, and that's a process. And again,
It is.
You
20 seconds.
This is what we're talking about.
At some point, we had to restart.
Yeah,
right?
we did. We had to
So
restart
you can
our
reach us at
website.
support@rightpathrealestate.com. We'd love to hear from you if you want to get involved in that why exercise.
10 seconds.
Put why in the subject line. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. We've got Build Your Team Thursday. Tom will be back in studio with some of our favorite team members, and then I'll help him close out the show. So hope to see you there, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, guys. We love you.
You've
Bye-bye.
been listening.